And with that, we are in game number 1. This is Flash's last series of the VCS Spring Split, so we're gonna say goodbye to this team. They were a very pleasant surprise in my mind. I thought they would be a pretty low profile, very weak team that would just give out free wins, but instead, they gave us some really exciting series. So with today's series doesn't mean anything for them. They've already locked in the summer split. They don't have to go to relegation, so that's going to go to Team Secret and MBE. So it's just a little bit of a last hurrah for this roster till they go to like a 2-month break. So today is just another opportunity to see Puddin, Sora, Jane, Fook, and Yoshino shine again. And on the other side, of course, Team Wales, they are preparing for playoffs. They're 4-0 this week already in games. Can they make it 6-0 and really strike fear into their opponents in the upcoming playoffs? That's what we're looking at today. The implications are not super high for the series, but I'm still very excited to be here with you. I see a Ghost Zarya. That is new. I don't think I've ever seen a Ghost Zarya in any of the games before.
I mean, it's on hypercarries, it's not so unusual. We've seen
Yeah, I see it on Sivir and Jinx,
yeah.
but
you can
Zarya?
you can easily play it on Zarya as well if you want to play hypercarry Zarya, which in this game, like everything else is already given to you, right? You're just gonna have to hypercarry the game. So I think I like it actually. I think it's the right choice here in summon as well, because you don't really need cleanse. Heal is kind of used to summon anyways. And exhaust is not going to do much for you because Zeri is going to be out of your range, and then yes, you could exhaust the Ahri, but you can also just ult her and she's useless. So I think neither exhaust nor cleanse are really useful here, and heal is just not a good summon anymore. Like you don't like supports can go heal, like Lulu did, but please, like AD carries do not go heal. Like 99% of games, heal is just bad.
Yeah, the problem here with no heal and Ghost into double summoners, like double combat summoners on the other side is, of course, 2v2 is going to be rough, and with Lulu, it's going to be rough anyway. Lulu Zeri usually win level 1 in almost any matchup, as we have a little bit of a clash on the mid lane, and here comes the owner, that's Jane, only level 2, Flash on top of him, Killer Queen, they got the charm, I think. Jane is trying to scuttle away, barely keeping alive, and now Fook 1 with Stack Conqueror, can he land the Q? He has Flash as well. Flash? Nope, not quite going for the play. So an early little clash there for all the 2v2s in mid lane. No one dies.
Yep, in the end, only 2 flashes, both the mid lane. No, 3 flashes blown. Maokai flash was blown as well as both mid laners. So small advantage here to Team Flash. And I'm not sure why you would take that early 2v2, because Ahri usually has a push early because her Q obviously is very good at shoving out, and Yone doesn't have the power to fight her yet. He kind of needs level 3 to do that, and then on the other hand, Maokai at that point is not strong as Vi, so not sure why they were fighting in mid lane. I think once level 6 comes in, that 2v2 becomes much easier to play, but they decided to at least cover the gank, and in the end come out scot-free. But now we can see that Killer Queen is in a lot of trouble. He is getting semi-invaded. He had to cancel his blue buff, but in the end just goes back to farming, and now Fook1 should do the same, so nothing really coming out of it.
I wanted to bring up one more stat before we went into the game, but unfortunately there was so much action that I wasn't able to bring it up. So I'll sneak it in right now. Glory has not played a Yone game this split so far. I just checked the stats before we loaded into the game. So he already has like 10 plus champions in his pool. I didn't count because there were a lot of them in his profile. So he likes to play a lot of different champions. We know Glory for very, like, his Silas is amazing. He has some really good mages as well, but some of his assassins are good too. So I'm kind of curious how he's going to do on this AD. I'm not even sure what to call Yone. He's not an assassin. He's like an AD team fighting mid laner.
Yeah, I mean, he can be a split pusher as well, right? He's that hybrid kind of champion that, and this game also will hard win both side lanes, especially if he decides to go for a Blade, maybe, to really chunk down Yoshino, so that could be an angle for him. Overall, what this team comp from Team Wedge really reminds me of is what is being picked in LPL for OMG. They like to have those AoE teamfight comps with Yone, with Akali in mid lane, and just really make it unplayable for the entire enemy team. If you're out of position once, they will find you and they will run you down. And I feel like they get so easy for Wales to do that, and that's why I'm also really hyped on the team comp, because I've seen it work so many times in the past weeks that I just believe that this kind of team comp can work very well.
Speaking of OMG, of course, I'm still hoping for more Rumble, because They have shown how strong this
Absolutely.
champion is, but for now, unfortunately, we have to just stare at Sion against Malphite top lanes. Or just ignore them, because no one wants to look at that ever in their lives. Understandably so. For a pretty quiet early game, apart from that early scuffle in the 2v2 in mid lane. Where do you think teams should look for early action? Do you think there's some playmaking potential now that Glory has hit level 6? Jane is also level 6, so both mid laners, who are quite strong in early skirmishes, are looking now for their next opportunity. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially through mid lane. I think on mid lane, yes, you can always fight, but especially Ahri and Yone are two champions that like to move to side lanes and like to get out of mid lane. So what I want from both junglers now, especially if one should be hitting level 6 on that Raptor camp, get your level 6, go mid lane. Your Ahri is going to get pushed now because Yone is on a late reset. Walk bot and make sure that you punish the missing ultis on Team Wild side, because they should be able to just zone them off turret, even if Maokai is there, because they have that mid priority, and that would be a really nice play. Then go into Drake, but it's looking like, what? No, they hate level 6. Okay, it's fine. We just hate level 6s. That's okay as well. But they can still go for Drake. I mean, Ahri should get prior, especially since there is no flash still for Glory, which is of course much worse for the Yone than for the Ahri, just because Ahri has her ultimate now, so she's always fine. But Yone can easily be locked on by Vi and Ahri.
Yeah, so far it seems like both teams are pretty content, not really going for many plays. 8 minutes is quickly approaching, and that's of course when Rift Hold spawns. So, ooh, nice little sidestep there from Glory. Unfortunately, he can't hit a single of his own Qs, so both of them just looking at each other, not hitting a single spell, and both walk away with almost full HP. So yeah, a little bit of a mid lane, I'm not entirely sure how to call it, just showing the spells, a tutorial show maybe, but not landing any of the spells. So now it's a little bit of bot priority for Team Flash. They will walk away with the first dragon, which is a very nice one for the laning phase, of course, early, especially for tanks in the top lane with the extra regeneration. Always nice to see. But both teams just playing a very quiet early game, and Team Flash just able to stand up in lanes to one of the playoff teams. It's always good to see individual players be on the same level as our play of contenders. So it's definitely not the laning phase that's the issue here for Flash so far in this game.
Absolutely not, and I think with the champions that you have and the power level that you have, you should be able to secure the Herald as well, because you still have that threat with Ahri in mid lane, who probably has to take a reset soon though. She doesn't have the most mana. Maybe blue buff is going to be given over to her, but Killer Queen, very nice. Like, this blue buff now has to be smited. He's actually smiting it away and engaging.
That should be a first kill. Fook in a lot of trouble, and that's a kill over to Glory. He finally found his first kill. And this is on the top side of the map in the enemy jungle, so you know what? There's a nice little objective as a bonus after that first kill. So that's first blood, that's a steal on the blue buff, and the Herald going over to Team Wales. They strike first in this game, 8 minutes in.
And it's just a massive mistake here from Fook 1. He shouldn't have gone for the blue buff, seeing that it is mid lane and doesn't have mana. Because now he had TP back up, he just goes back, while in bot lane there's a fight going on.
So trying to walk away, and he actually gets to level 6 off one dying minion. So now it's actually Team Flash with a huge advantage. Sora's ultimate's still available, and Team Wales took way too long on the top side. Now Jane is back. There's Fook 1. He respawned and ran straight to the fight, so they give up another kill, and they can't collect their objective either. So they kill the Herald, but they can't pick up the Eye, and in the end it's a 1-for-1 trade on the top side.
I'm pretty sure Ahri stole it.
Oh, did she? I need to see the replay.
I think I saw the pop-up like coming in. Ahri stole the Elder Drake, yeah, the Herald. But yeah, I mean, like, Jane did have his TP back up, which meant that he could rejoin quickly. That's what I meant. What Fook 1 was doing, the massive mistake, and here we can see it again. Okay.
Please, observers, please stop. Yeah, Ahri actually got that. That is such a huge swing now for Wales. Took way too long to take this objective. How were they so delayed on this objective?
I mean, they do it pretty slowly. I mean, they don't really have any damage, especially if Yone isn't hitting it. And with the ice in the early game, it isn't too much damage. So I guess they just took too long, and in the end, they get punished for it. And I mean, we don't want to see top lane, but neither top laner does want to see top lane either, I feel like.
Look at them just clearing minions, walking away from each other. I love tank matchups. They are so stupid.
Oh, man. We can see a small invade coming in from Killer Queen. It is the Maokai DNA. You want to always look for those small invades. Just get the Raptor camp, get maybe the Grom, and get out again. But it doesn't seem like he's trying to get out. It does seem like he's zoning Zora still from bot lane. So they can get something done there.
Still only 1-1 in kills, but now Team Flash actually with a really decent chance to advance the game in their favor. Jane got the first kill, already has an item, so he is very, very scary to fight. If anyone oversteps, especially looking at Lori, he can charm, follow up, then another CC. And now 2 platings only left on this tower. He already used the Rift Hull to get some platings for himself, so that's a lot of gold funneled into this Ahri. She's off to a great start and should be able to dominate the mid game, where of course Ahri shines the most. So yeah, you can see Jane in full control in the mid lane, slightly behind in CS, probably because he roamed towards that objective, but it's also good to see that Glory is able to just get all the minions and scale into the later stages of the game, where Yone, of course, will come into his own. You talked about him being a good split pusher, and I feel like in this game, if he ever gets to a good item breakpoint, no one can really answer him in the side lane, can they?
No, absolutely not. I mean, unironically, one of the best people is probably put in on that Zeri, because Zeri obviously with a lot of mobility, as long as the ulti doesn't hit her, she's fine, but in the end she's just an AD carry, so she's going to be under-leveled. She's not going to really able to step up. On the other hand, Ahri can maybe one-shot waves, and Cyan can tank him for a decent amount of time, but none of those 3 can even think about facing him in 1v1. So I'm not sure how they're going to figure that out, but obviously they do have the possibility to just go in with Vi whenever the Yone is going towards the side lane.
I have to say, every time I see CBL try to land a W on Puddin, I'm twitching a bit, because that looks strange to me. I have no idea why he thinks he can do that, but in the end he can always E out, so it's not a big yikes. Okay, the communication between these 2 players doesn't look that amazing.
I mean,
he's a substitute, right? So
yeah, I mean, if maybe be like is ill or something, and if he is, give this man some ibuprofen and get him in here because they need him. I mean, the rotations also from CBL didn't look great. I think he could have been out of lane a lot more, because he should be out roaming the Lulu. Lulu, of course, wants to stay with the AD carry, while the Rakan actually wants to get out of lane, and Xayah just gets free solo waves the entire time when she's being pushed in. But now we see a 5v5 here at the Drake, and it should be Yoshino going in first.
Both tanks positioned interestingly. Yoshino tanking that one up. Everyone hiding behind the Malphite. The Cyan, of course, but there's the engaged. Malphite finally in. There's Yone into the backline. Lori doesn't have the damage to go in alone. He goes out again, but that's 1 kill already over to Team Wales. Now Flash on the chase. Jane is ready to go, but good dodge there by Killer Queen. That's Cyan getting dangerously low. Vid is still full HP, and it seems like Wales have comprehensively outplayed Flash in this team fight. Get the dragon, force them away, even get a kill to their name, so Wales back in control of the game. They can even get a few platings here in the mid lane, better inside track towards this tower, so everything going Team Wales' way.
I'm surprised that they won that team fight. They shouldn't have. I mean, the Malphite just ulted Vi, and he didn't even knock up because Vi timed her ultimate in a way where he didn't even knock up her. But in the end, it turns out fine for them. Nobody really dies, and again, they shouldn't be 5 men from the front. Yone should be on the side. The Rakan should be on the side, because we can see that Rakan tried to go in, got queued, got killed, was completely useless the entire fight. So if he's just over the wall, flashing in, for example, from the side or something, he could be so much more useful. He has to find those flanks, and he can't come from the front, and the same is kind of true for that Yone. And then the team fight would have been, I guess, a bigger stomp for either side, with Team Flash probably just getting overrun.
Yeah, I feel like Yone actually caused everyone to panic in the backline, because they saw Yone jump into like 3 or 4 people in the backline, and they probably had some trauma from solo queue, where the Yone has 4 items and actually just one-shots everyone, but this Yone doesn't even have 1 item, so he just looked scary but didn't actually do anything, and everyone was kind of scattering around the Yone and didn't really help out their tank in the front line, didn't really play properly front to back, so in the end Flash just looking a little bit lost in that fight. And that's a good little comeback from Wales. They equalized the dragon score, and I mean the gold is still super even. Looking at the items, I think the biggest difference is still in the mid lane here.
Yeah, I mean mid lane definitely is a difference. I'm expecting that the first item should come in soon. just from gold that he should have. But in the end, I'm not sure. Team Flash has to find better angles, and Zeri has to get items. I think what is pretty clear in the last team fight that if you come from front like that and the Zeri has 3 items, you just lose instantly, right? But on 1 item they can still do this, and again, they're 5 men from the front. That's not how they wanted to play team fights.
They can steal this one away. Yep, there's another seal on the Rift Herald. This Scion does not take any damage though. Now Fook 1 looking for an angle. Good block for Nagia though. Very nice positioning on the top side of the fight, so no one could really go into the backline. Both teams just running at each other, and Team Wales once again snuck away the objective. Wales just getting away with murder here. Back-to-back team fights.
Yep. One thing. Now taking the mid turret, obviously,
Risky.
And engage.
There's Fook 1 in the backline. He went very far though, but look at all the damage from Flash. Oh, there goes Laurie. He's super low too. All the health bars looking really scary from the side of Wales this time, and Flash have found the angle. They found some of the kills, and they will now be able to punish with at least 1 tower. Vid needs to be careful. He does have the ultimate to walk away, but he still has to escape. So 1 tower back to Flash, and they win the next team fight. It's back and forth in this game.
And it's all because Vid's itemization is questionable. I really don't like Gayforce in this game. I think you have to be you have to know that you're the threat level of enemy team. Yes, Gayforce is gonna help you against the Champ, for example, but nobody is killing Yoshino, and he's not gonna die until 3-4 items into this game. And that just means he can do whatever he wants, like running at the Rakan and just punishing permanently. And Vid, he's perma-hitting, but he's doing 127 damage to this Scion when he crits.
Yeah, that's
good luck
pitiful.
killing that guy. Like
that is pitiful damage. I mean, they kind of need to rely on Glory to also deal a little bit of damage. Right now, he's weirdly far behind in itemization because his items are so expensive, and he went for early boots as well, so he's kind of lacking that mythic power spike.
Yeah, Vid is legit not gonna kill anybody for such a long time, and on the other hand, Putin can just free skate into this game, and that's the big issue, of course, going with the Gayforce Xayah into the Scion specifically in the matchup, because this Scion is a complete monster. Now we see 3-0 on the Ari with 3 platings in mid lane on top of that, so that's another 1.5 kills, which just means that she's basically 5 to 6-0, and that shows in items now, and she's gonna deal so much damage, have so much threat onto Vid, and the Gayforce is not really gonna save him there.
Let's see how he does when he has a second item, because that is usually the biggest power spike, right, for Xayah. When she finishes her Navori, she's gonna be quite strong, especially compared to Zeri, who usually likes 3 items to really come together. So there might be a little bit of an opening for Wales. I'm a little bit surprised as how little impact Nagia has had in these team fights. This Malphite has looked insanely strong in some games, and then this game it kind of looks just inferior to the Scion, who has so much more HP to work with and just stands in front of everyone and tanks. But as you said earlier, they're also not making use of their flank potential at all. They're just running at them in 5 for 5, and that's really not the way you want to play the Yona. But there goes the Malphite. That's a huge ultimate. Can they eliminate the Ari? Ari's dead. Zeri is dead as well. They found the engage, and now Yoshino in trouble, even though he's so tanky. Look at the non-damage from Vid. He might be able to kill him in 20 auto attacks. There goes another one, and he finally gets the kill. That's Dragon on the board for Wales as well. Three kills for 0. Dragon, and that's a huge one. That's the Mountain Dragon. That's gonna make both of their tanks so much stronger, but they get the tower as well, and Wales found the angle. What an amazing engage from Nagia.
And he took that personally.
Yeah, he did.
He's saying he didn't really have impact. It's 3-man ultimate
what
onto
a
both
bouncing
carries and the Scion, and then you're not getting out of that CC ever. And that's a huge mistake here from Team Flash, walking in, being stacked. You should never have both of the carries on the same spot, and you should give that ultimate over, obviously. But great play from Nagia as well, making sure that it's a short ultimate with the Flash as well, and getting in.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. The combo of the ultimates also not staggering the CC correctly, not all hitting at the same time. It was Malphite ultimate into Rakan engage, and then Glory's ultimate hit everyone as well. And meanwhile, Vid was able to accumulate all the feathers. He didn't even have the Navori at that time, so it's only gonna get worse. And finally, I think Wales have found. I mean, even though the gold is still very close, I feel like Wales has finally found the momentum in the game and are now in a dominant position. Also cracking open that mid tower, equalizing mid tier 1 will give them so much priority over the next few dragons. And Wales, we know, are really good at team fighting. So I feel like they finally found that feeling, that team fighting mojo that will put them ahead in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, but the problem that they have still is that teamfight can easily be lost when Seri hits those 2.5, 3 items if you don't lock her down. And again, it was a front-to-back teamfight. It was a great ultimate from Nagia, but it was also Puddin not flashing, Jane not flashing, right? They both just didn't expect the ultimate whatsoever and didn't flash out, so it was a huge mistake from enemy team as well, and you shouldn't rely on that twice. But you don't have to if you send your Rakan on a flank, if you send your Yon on a flank, and that's what we have to see, them being able to not front-to-back this, but being able to just shut down Puddin by having those flanks, and then also making it much easier for Nagia, because if they both have to always look out for the sides, then
Yoshino just in no man's land, but Killer Queen on the other side and a little bit of trouble. He gets the engage, and that's Ari completely overextended on the other side. Now Glory needs to be careful not to overextend, but they really nice focus, just getting rid of the stragglers on the side, not actually caring too much about Puddin and Yoshino. They're trying to get back in there. Puddin only on 2 items. Can he do anything? They're trying to chase them down. I've Puddin oversteps. Yep, there he goes. There's the W, and Puddin completely out of... Puddin really misplayed his cards there. Really good counter engage, and now that's Baron. There's no jungler on the other enemy team. Team Wales running away with this game.
And I have no idea what Fuk1 was doing in that fight, because... to be honest, like, Yoshino descended down mid lane. How are you not following the top lane? How are you on the side of the fight? And I want to see a replay of that, because they completely split focus. They wanted to get him to Vit. They wanted to get him to Killer Queen at the same time. They didn't know where to go. Jane was going with Fuk1, but it was completely caught out of position because of it. And I'm not sure what they were doing or if they were communicating at all.
What I really like about this game from Wales is how quickly they are able to call out targets that are slightly out of position, especially Jane in the last 2 fights. Remember, this Ari was 3-0, 2 items completed, really far ahead. And now back-to-back team fights where she's just been caught on the side, and you think about Ari as a champion, so mobile, so hard to catch, but with the likes of the Twisted Advance, well, you can just lock her down for a second or 2 and she dies instantly. So really good target calling for Wales, really good CC call as well to just get rid of 1 or 2 targets and instantly win the team fight through this very good chaining of CC. Yeah,
absolutely. They play out their comp to a good degree. And I mean, so far it's working perfectly for them. And they take the overextensions, they take the mistakes from Team Flash as they are presented and do it perfectly at that. So you can't really blame them for... I mean, you can't really say, well, Team Flash is misplaying it, so they aren't playing well. You still have to catch the rundown, right? So I think they're doing that perfectly, and now we can see the map control really swinging to their side. They're playing 2 lanes. They want to stay grouped up, so playing 3 lanes, even though they have that split push threat with Glory, doesn't really make sense because they want to be a grouped unit right now. They win any team fight, and now Yoshino might be the target. Once the turret goes
no
down,
one is interested in hitting Yoshino, because that's not very fun.
Yoshino's probably at this point tankier than the turret is.
Very true, yeah.
And probably hits as hard, which is the disgusting part with the Sion, of course. And now that tankular items are coming in for Vid as well, he was supercharged his third item so fast that it didn't end up measuring that he went for the Game Force. Now he can kill Yoshino for sure, and Yoshino is just looking at this team being like, what the fuck did you do, guys? Sorry, bad word.
It's alright. Yoshino feels a little bit left alone, and that's the issue when you play a lot of tanks. I mean, he has been very successful, even historically. Back in Flash in 2020, he was the big tank player and the best tank player at that. They are trying to attack the rock, but here's ultimate. Wow, that is Fook going into Narnia, just following the rock under tower. That was a pretty desperate call for Flash. They can't make it work against Nagia, who had to use his Flash and ultimate though. But look at the damage he's destroying. Oh my god, Fook 1 got absolutely destroyed by Nagia. Now the big scary rock is on the chase. They need to get out of here, but look at Team Wales. They're collapsing. They're trying to round them out. They're trying to corral them under the tower. CBL is here. Can he initiate the engage? Two people are left under tower. Uh-oh. Killer Queen is here. I think Fook 1 and Sora know their fates. There goes one. There goes the other. 2 kills back to Team Wales. They also got the dragon. So this game looks almost done and dusted.
I mean, it should be absolutely over. We're now at the 7k gold lead with a great engage comp that can just play out their potential so well. And you talked about Yoshino and his potential. I think that if you're playing against this and seeing game 1, I think Yoshino needs to go in the carry champion. Like Gwen, for example, really punish Nagia in top lane, make sure that he is as miserable as possible, and then play against those low range team comps with the carry, because we can see it, like, he's not taking
Look at the
much
healing,
damage,
though.
He's not taking much damage, but like,
really
he's also not doing anything, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the Sion thing. Sion can
Yeah.
be ignored for the most part, because he's just a big wall of meat. He doesn't really do much. The CC is very slow. He's very sluggish to do anything against the enemy carries, especially against something like Yona and Isaiah, who can really just walk past him. Here he comes, the train. He hits a rock and nothing happens, but Team Flash is trying to isolate Nagia. Nagia actually going down low, but here's the counter engage. There comes the first kill for Zaya. Glory needs to disengage and put in on the side. Put in now with a chance to carry. He has his ultimate running, tries to get on top of Vid, and Vid actually in a lot of trouble. CBL trying to help him, and ooh, the flash from Putin, but that's a huge feather call. Glory really trying to make his presence known. On the other side, Yoshino still not taking any damage, but actually healing Glory through all the lifesteal. What is going on in the fight? It's still going. There's the ultimate for Killer Queen again. Everyone needs to duck behind Yoshino, who's still half HP, but Glory has found his way into the backline, and now CBL. It's a mess on the rift, but Killer Queen is slowly chasing down the targets as he's another huge tank threat. And in the end, Wales walk away with another victory in the team fight.
Yeah, but I think this team fight really showed what Team Flash's comp can do if Team Wales is just caught front to back, right? Like, it was, like, Yoshino didn't take any damage. Like, he was hit, what, 20, 30 times by Glory, didn't care at all. Yeah. And on the other hand, Putin dealing a lot of damage on his own, but not really being able to kill Vit in the end, and that meant the team fight was still a loss. But I think it's acceptable loss. It was the best case scenario for the side of Team Flash. I really wanted to force that team fight and get something out of it, but in the end they lose Flash on the AD carry, they lose Cleanse on the AD carry, and now for the next Drake it's not going to be easy for Putin to carry, even though he has, I think, finished third item now.
This Putin really tried hard to get there. Oh, CBL actually completely out of position, gets caught by Fook 1. Dragon in 2 minutes. Baron is up in 20 seconds. I don't think 1 kill on the support is enough to force the Baron for Flash. It could be risky, because Nagi has his ultimate again, and Killer Queen is here as well, so I don't think they're going to go for the Baron, or maybe. I mean, they are very far behind.
I think they should. I mean, it's a desperation Baron, no questions about it.
If it works, it's a lot of gold back to them, so...
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why they should do it, and they can force a teamfight here, and it's one less threat, of course, onto Putin, who has a chance to actually play the teamfight without Rakan existing.
Here comes Wales. They have really strong engage as well, and the Team Flash have to clump together to take this Baron. Look at Yoshino trying to buy time, but ooh, Putin gets caught, and Putin is instantly obliterated. No, he's not actually dead yet. Now he goes down, and that is really all she wrote for the game. Really good engage this time from Glory. He finds the follow-up onto Nagi, and this combo of the Malphite and Yona ultimate together looks so potent, especially when the enemy carries can't flash away from the initial engage. Really nicely played for Wales. Flash, they tried the desperate call. They really tried to make it work. They needed the Baron. They needed the shutdown on the objective bounties, but unfortunately, staying together around the Baron also opened them up for an engage, and that's all Team Wales wants to do.
Yeah, and I think it would have been the angle where you have to play more aggressive, where you have to step up more aggressively, because at this point the teamfight is lost. You have to be the first one to go in. You have to put down the pressure and make sure that the Malphite is taking a lot of damage before he even can ult. But again, without the flash on Putin, it's so impossible to play. And now moving on to the Drake, it's going to be another desperation call. You have no ultimate on Puddin. You have no ultimate on Jane. You have no ultimate on Yoshino. Good luck, have fun. You're not gonna play the game because Malphite ultis up and Yon ultis up.
Look at that Yona build as well before we go into the dragon. That Yona is a tank as well, and especially looking at the 3 mountain drakes potentially on him. That is an interesting little voice there, and Yoshino getting called back to his team, I'd say. Yeah, the other team can just go for the dragon for free, but it looks like Team Wales is trying to orchestrate some weird little call, maybe a base race. Instead, now Team Wales. The desperation call, as Tim said, is in full effect, but Fukwon very isolated. Only Yoshino near him, as his carries don't want to step up into this super scary engage composition. Dragon down to 3.4k, and here comes Wales. They don't want to lose this to a flip. They can just force the fight. Where's Nagia's ultimate? There comes the engage, and Killer Queen on the hunt. Everyone on Yoshino. Yoshino completely isolated, goes down to super low HP, and there's the soul. Fukwon will die quickly as well. And look at Pudding, he hasn't really auto-attacked anyone. And here's the engage, he still gets hit, and everyone instantly annihilated. Wales just too strong in these team fights, and what a lovely comp. So much agency. Nice little sidestep from Vid, and Team Wales will just run it down bot lane and finish the game. Or maybe even involve the mid lane as Nagia's, or wow, Vid's damage is respectable as well. Just one-shots Jane, who once again fails to make use of his flash, but in the end, Team Flash as a whole not able to stand up to this engage composition from Wales, and Wales will go 5-0 on the week.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a really clean game, and it was pretty obvious how playable teamfights were without Flash for Puddin, right? I mean, he couldn't really play the teamfights whatsoever. Flash ulti from Nagia, once again to lock him down, make sure that he dies, and then always a follow-up from Glory. They knew what their target was, and somehow they always managed to find it, even in the front to back. So, good job for Nagia here as well. I think he had a really good game on the Malphite.